So you brought up your bedroll and everything. You slept.
Next morning, got up, had a good meal, and Sergeant, Staff Sergeant Maddox was a friend of mine. He said, "Sergeant Harris, come on. Where are we going?" "Well, you come on, let's go with me."
You probably figured you were heading for court-martial.
I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't give a damn what he did about that point. And they took me back to a psycho hospital. And it was back all the way to Besançon, France. And the psychiatrist or whatever sat there in the office, and I sat there with him, and he went through they had my service record there. He went through, "You made the invasion of Africa." "Yes, sir. And you did this, and you did that all the way through. Your invasion of Salerno, invasion of Anzio, invasion of southern France." "Yep, yep." He said, "Sergeant, you've had it." And that was the end of it. I mean, as far as actual fighting was concerned, I had no more. The only thing I did from that on the rest of the war was look for booze. I became a recon sergeant in the 28 Engineer Battalion. 28 Engineer Battalion. This is where I was discharged from, as a recon sergeant. And I had a Jeep and a driver, and that's what I did. I was supposed to be checking the bridges and remaking maps as we went through. I had a topographical unit on the Jeep. I didn't make the first map. It was just something, they weren't going to let you come home until it was over. We had to be rehabilitated. And
so the booze you were looking for was for your own consumption, or was just looking for?
Well, we found, like for example, found a SS liquor ration dump, and so we went to the motor pool sergeant and told him, "Hey, we know where all this liquor is. Is there such thing as a truck that we can get?" "Yeah, we got one we picked up, which is one that he didn't have to account for." He says, "Where is it? Let's go." Well, we got the first sergeant, the supply sergeant, motor pool sergeant, mess sergeant, and myself, 5 of us. We took that truck, a 2.5-ton truck, and went down and loaded that bastard just as full of stuff as we could get. We had 5-star Hennessy cognac, we had schnapps, we had champagne, we had just fine stuff. The SS had good stuff. And we loaded that truck, and we'd the whole outfit was made up of
cast-offs,
throwaways. So we'd give the company commander a bottle every now and then, keep him happy, and we stayed drunk. Then we gave out of booze, and we were in trouble. And the next thing we found was we had these recon sergeants, and that was our job. See, there was no really set pattern that we had to follow.
Yeah.
And what we found a buzz bomb juice factory. So we come back and got 5-gallon water cans, and we filled it with this pure grain alcohol, which was what they were using in the buzz bombs. And we gave it to the German civilian women to cut, and they cut it 6 times and drink. Oh God! But you could put your finger and touch it to your lip, and it burned. It was just pure stuff.
You wouldn't even know. I wouldn't think. I would have found something like that. I would have wondered what it was, but I wouldn't have known it was drinkable.
Well, somebody had told us it was good before we got into it. Somebody had analyzed it. But if there was something to drink, they'd find it.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody would know. Well, we had 5-gallon water cans of that stuff, and had the German women had this imitation lemon juice. They're supposed to mix with water, to make lemonade. And we had that, and we had this D-ration chocolate bars, and we had I don't remember now what all, but we gave these German women this stuff, and they would mix it, make chocolate liqueur or this lemon lemonade liquor.
Yeah.
That because I had to cut it so many times. You imagine cut it 6 times. The morning you'd wake up and even your eyes would hurt, and you couldn't do a damn thing but take another drink to get over it.
Yeah, and there's no wonder now when you go to the old VA hospitals, you find them that are drunk tanks,
Well, I tell you, if you were in a combat situation most of the time, the only relief you got was getting drunk. There was no way out of it.
Yeah.
Just anything you could do to find it, you did.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
I hear that.
You live in sheer panic for just years.
Yeah. On the edge of it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that probably was our rehabilitation time that we had.
Yeah.
But they brought us. We ended up the war down in Bavaria. Well, I went across and I came down. I crossed the Rhine at Mannheim, and came down through Baden-Baden, Karlsruhe down through, and Karlsruhe, down through the Black Forest, and then we swung over. Came down, let's see, through Memmingen, through Oberammergau.
That's 135, right? Yeah.
And through Garmisch-Partenkirchen. We were headed for Berchtesgaden. Where we were headed for. And the war ended. I got down. This first army was down through Dachau. I came through there, but it was at a different time. I was in Munich. I don't know how I got back through there, but anyway, I came back. I ended up, the day the war ended, I was just outside of Garmisch-Partenkirchen in a little town of Mittenwald, right on the Austrian border, and there were the Russians there. And
what were Russians doing there?
Well, they were down on the corner on the Austrian border.
I think. Yeah.
That's where we met the Russians, and that's when we went to Innsbruck and got the took the local Braumeister from Mittenwald down to Innsbruck through the Russian lines. We took a convoy down, loaded up out of the warehouse down there. He knew where the stuff was. We got it. But the deal was he'd make the beer, and we'd get half of it if we'd give him the stuff to make it with. So that's what we did. And Mittenwald had beer when nobody else did. We had half of it. So we pitched a big drunk up on the beach on the side of Mount Coendel. Up in they had a chalet up. It was where they climbed the mountain,
Yeah.
And the jumping off place was way up beside the mountain here. And we pitched a party up there with our beer and our booze. What a mess.
Yeah.
But that's where I was when the thing ended. They brought us back. Well, after everything was over, we came back to Munich. That's where we got in with the graves registration people there. They were mixing up something. They made some kind of drink out of formaldehyde. And then we were there because they just began to come back. The opera house there the roof had been blown off of it, but I went to the opera there. Then they put us on. They hauled us back. I don't remember.
Probably was in kind of a drunken
haze.
Yeah.
At that time. We came back to Nuremberg. And then by then I guess they had trains running, because in Nuremberg we got on a train and ended up getting off at Le Havre. And so I was there one night, I think, and we got on the ship and come back and started back the stage. I was there longer than that. I was there a couple of 3 nights.
Le Havre.
Camp Lucky Strike. Yeah.
Maybe you should put down your temper. Look at the 5. I was going to work up here soon. I'm so busy trying to work my way through it.
Like that's Asian, yeah.
That's the Pacific side of it.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I guess by the time you got into Germany, it had been pretty well beaten up.
Oh, it was a mess. That was torn up.
Yep. Well, that'll give me enough to enter. Munich, you mean?
No, when we were in Mittenwald, and they came down one day and says, "Hey, get a group of people together. We got to go up and find this guy." He was some physicist or something they wanted to get a hold of, but we got there and he was gone. I think the Russian got him.
Yeah.
And then another time they came and says, "We want volunteers. There's a holdout. There's a group up on this mountain that are still wanting to fight. They want to get a group together and fight them." You go to hell. I ain't fighting anybody. Never again will I fight. But they couldn't get enough volunteers to go in there, and they ended up coming on out because nobody paid any attention to them. Stay up there on that mountain. We'll put guards down here to keep you up there. There's just a handful of SS troops, I guess. But we were pretty close to Berchtesgaden there, which is Hitler's hideout down there in the Alps. These are all Alps, and that's where his redoubt was supposed to be. You know. But see, this whole area, if you take France and Germany, any of that area of the world over there, it's not like this country. It's just, it's held from Nuremberg to Camp Lucky Strike up here in France, overnight trip.
Oh yeah.
There's just no distance at all if you're not trying to take it an inch at a time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the why the EC is. I mean, up until they started this European community
Yeah, yeah.
stuff, you know, that they really didn't have a chance was, hell, you know, you
Through in Italy. Now they're advancing up through the mountains.
this is off of Anzio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had already taken Rome. No, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital in Naples.
Yeah.
But as they were advancing up through the mountains there, they had a couple of companies that were spread out in, you know, alongside each side of the road as they went, and extended formation. And the colonel came up and he's driving his Jeep alone. He didn't have his Jeep driver with him. So he says, "Where's each company?" And he said, "They're on up the road a bit." Well, there's a horseshoe curve up the road. And the Germans had blown the bridge. And they were really, what they were going to do is they're going up and put a bridge across it.
Yeah.
The
That's what
span.
they're doing up there, yeah.
So up he went in his Jeep and barrel ass up through there, you know, he made that bend. There was nothing there but just down through. And he was down about 200 feet down there he was dead.
Yeah.
So I finally got him.
Yeah.